Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, back in the studio on a Monday morning. You know, I get a lot of crap from Dallas Cowboys fans that live here in the area a lot of the time, and I don't understand it because we're not even in the same conference. But for some reason, a lot of Cowboys fans like to give me hell for being a big-time Chiefs fan. For once in my life, I'm going to take this opportunity to say it's not a logo, guys. It's a star rating. That's exactly what you got against the Chiefs yesterday.
This is what you tell them. The Big D ain't in Dallas anymore.
Oh, way better than mine, Ned. Way better. Yes, the Big D is in Arrowhead Stadium.
It's disguised as a C, and it is the Chiefs who had the Big D going for them yesterday. I'll tell you, it was all defense. Totally surprised me. I picked a score of 38-34, the Chiefs to win. Thought it'd be a whole lot more high scoring. Was not. And the Chiefs' offense was, I'll tell you why it was like that in just a second, but it was the defense that won the game. They completely stymied everything that Dallas tried to do. Dak Prescott was rendered virtually immobile. And the running game, I think they came in, they being the Cowboys, averaging something like 200 yards a game. They ran for 82. 82 yards is all they got yesterday, and the passing by Prescott was forced. He had a couple of picks. There were fumbles. He was also sacked 5 times, 3.5 by Chris Jones
himself.
And there is the key right there. This is the adjustment that Kansas City has made. Why he was ever, and it's not something new that we came up with. We talked about it early in the season. The Chiefs, as bad as the Chiefs were on defense at the start of the season, that's how good they were yesterday. Why? Because they made the change. Why the change was ever made, and we talked about this, if it was Spagnuolo, they'll run him out of town. You took Chris Jones out of his natural position and put him in another place. Teams are running right past him because his timing wasn't there for that position. It takes a long time to get defensive timing adjusting to your perception on the field. You can practice all you want, but until you face it in those games, it's a different circumstance. Moved him back to where he was, brought in Ingram from the Pittsburgh Steelers.
He's been a huge help.
He has been a help. He's not the star that he was. No question about that. He's not the player he had been, but he is filling a role, and that's what you look for in any sports, anything, a role player, and he is there. He's filling that position. It's helping them immensely. Their defense was virtually impenetrable yesterday. I thought they played extremely well.
It's lights out, man.
Now, is that to say it's going to continue? Keep in mind, this is professional football. And while the Chiefs have made adjustments, so will some of the other teams who are going to face them. These kind of defenses in Kansas City is very aggressive, tremendously aggressive, much more so than they had been in the past. There's a way to beat that. And teams know how to do that if you have the personnel. Denver, which is the game on December 5th, their next one, they don't have the personnel to do this.
They don't.
Some of the others do. We'll see how this works out. But, yeah, that was a great performance by Kansas City's defense.
I mean, they answered the questions for me. That D looked incredible. Now, again, yes, putting Chris Jones back inside was a huge move. Getting Melvin to help with that edge and getting new guys in. Some of the young guys stepped up. Ward had a really good game. Hopefully Fenton will be okay. They're going to do an MRI on him, but that'd be a tough loss because he was coming on. Sneed, dude. Oh my God, he looked like a monster out there.
That's just it. Those guys were not that aggressive early in the season.
They are playing hard.
Now. It's a very aggressive level, and they're charging. I love this too. They're forcing the offense to make the plays. They're not waiting for the offense to come to them.
Side.
They're forcing them into it. That's a great technique if you have the horses to make it go, and if the other team doesn't make adjustments. That's I can remember once seeing a game in which the quarterback was getting the tar beaten out of him in the first half, adjusted in the second half, and it was beautiful because he ran the other team right out of the ballpark because they kept up with that aggressive defense and didn't fall back. There are all sorts of variables involved. It isn't all cut and dried.
No, it's not. But again, the moving Chris Jones back, getting some of these guys that were hurt back, some of the rookies have stepped up, so it's starting to gel, and that's a really good thing, especially since Defense wins championships.
Keep in mind, too, that the Chiefs are relatively healthy now. They don't have a whole lot of people who are banged up and injured. These other teams do. For instance, the Cowboys yesterday, Amari Cooper out of there, C.D. Lamb taken out on concussion protocol.
Zeke got hurt, too, and came back.
Who's that now?
Zeke got hurt his ankle.
Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah, these injuries do crop up, but it is pro football. You expect injuries. You try to counter that. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
No, but the Chiefs definitely looking good going to the bye week. I know they need the rest, and I think all of us around here probably need the week off. So it'll be nice to be able to stay at home this weekend for sure. But I'm so proud of my guys getting the dub against the Cowboys at Arrowhead going into the bye week winners. And guess what? We lead the AFC West, and that is a good place to be. I'm in a good mood because obviously my Kansas City Chiefs got a big win against the Cowboys yesterday in Kansas City. Huge win over the Dallas Cowboys. If I need to remind you again, I will. But also because the Missouri State football Bears are playoff bound. We knew that they would be, but it's been a long time coming, man. In a regular season.
Well, yeah, because they were in last spring,
Yeah.
but
I know.
A little bit misleading. There were only 16 teams last spring, and yeah, the Bears were there and got belted hard in the first round. This time, the first round game will be here, and it's next Saturday, this coming Saturday, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which means they'll end the game under the lights, which is fine. The Bears they were hoping for a seed, did not get a seed, not one of the top 8 teams, but they are right there as a primary team, and they are going to be at home. Going to play the Ohio Valley Conference champs, Tennessee Martin. That's not a surprise. The NCAA likes to keep their games regional, and Martin, Tennessee is not very far away from here in terms of that level of geography. There are other teams that would have been. But the fact of the matter remains twofold. Number one, the Bears will be here for a 3 o'clock kickoff. Tennessee Martin's pretty good. They're ranked 8th in America. They're the Ohio Valley Conference champs, but I think the Bears can beat this ball club. They're wide open, throw the ball all over the lot, and high scores. Another factor, all 6 teams from the Missouri Valley that we thought were going to get it, we thought 5, all 6 got in. One of them is a top seed, actually number 2 seed, North Dakota State, 8-time national champs. They're the only seeded team. All the rest are playing on Saturday in games, 2 of them against each other, Southern Illinois and South Dakota. But the fact remains that 6 teams from the Valley selected. That's pretty doggone good. All right, the Bears have a fine team. They just blasted, unloaded on Dixie State, and you knew they would. Dixie State's not in the ballpark with the Bears. Out in St. George, Utah, 55-24 on Saturday night, and it was really no contest. The Bears could have named the score. What I do find interesting is this Tennessee Martin team, Ohio Valley Conference champs, high-scoring, nationally ranked, lost their last game of the season. And they lost it to Southeast Missouri, which is Ohio Valley Conference team. And they lost it 31-14. This is a team that's accustomed to scoring 35 and 40 points in a game, and they only score 14 against Cape? This is a little strange. All right, there's another situation, too, that occurred. Southern Illinois goes and plays Youngstown State. And Southern Illinois loses their game, yet they get in the playoffs. Do you suppose, and this is Ned Reynolds in Conspiracy, do you suppose those teams knew ahead of time they were going to the playoffs and dogged it? I've seen it happen before. That's not to say that it did this time. Can't prove anything.
Yeah, but
I'm a little suspicious.
If you were trying to put all your eggs in that last game, that really doesn't mean a whole lot, but you've got the playoffs around the corner. I know.
They know ahead of time that they were going and say, all right, boys, let's just back off here a little bit. No coach would do that consciously, but you can do it subconsciously.
Yeah.
You can do it with substitutions on the bench and things like that. Again, I can't prove that, but it does seem to me a little suspicious.
Well, detective, get out there and get that evidence. We need to uncover this conspiracy. If the Missouri State football Bears do win on Saturday, who do you suppose their opponent's going to be down the line?
Already determined. They'll go to Bozeman, Montana, and play the Montana State Bobcats up there Montana and Montana State are members of the Big Sky Conference. Ironically, the conference is called Big Sky because that's what Montana is, Big Sky. Of course, they're not the only ones in there. There are others. But the fact of the matter remains that Montana State is very good. They are a seeded team. They're number 8 seed. And the Bears or whomever, either Tennessee Martin or the Bears, will go out there to play on the following Saturday in December.
Man, well, they've got some tests, but I'm glad they made it. It's been a long time coming for sure. Do we have any high school football teams in the area that remain in the hunt?
We have three from Southwest Missouri who are going to make it. What else is new? Webb City and Lamar are both going to the semifinals, along with Thayer. And Thayer, which is way down in Oregon County, but technically in Southwest Missouri, that's a big win for them because they knocked out the reigning state champs, Windsor. The other teams, here's Webb City, and they're not the Webb City of the past, but somehow, some way, they get there. They are relentless. They know how to win. Knocked off a good Lebanon team on Friday night to gain the semifinals. And Lamar, here is another of these relentless teams, 8-time state champions. The Lamar Tigers go to Ava and beat an undefeated Ava team 35-14. That's a huge win for Lamar. They are on to the semifinals, which are coming up this weekend as well. So congratulations to those area teams.
Man, a lot of tough competition. Speaking of competition, Missouri State Bears are on the road tonight. Is that right?
They are. They're in Naples, Florida for the start of a 3-day tournament down there, and the Bears will play later on this evening against Long Beach State. Long Beach State 49ers from obviously Long Beach, California, have a great basketball tradition. The Bears have played them in the past and have whipped them in the past, but Long Beach has also whipped the Bears in the past. Long Beach is coming off a loss to the nation's number 2 team, UCLA. Got beat by them by 21 last week sometime. So now Long Beach goes to Naples, Florida. The Bears go to Naples, Florida, along with other teams, and this tournament begins. The Bears will play the final game on the schedule tonight, then 2 more coming up.
Man, must be nice in Florida right now. Ned and I are just going to sit here and dream it about drinking and sitting in our swim shorts. You have a great Monday. I'll see you tomorrow.